In this lesson, we'll discuss and look at controlling visibility of elements within your views. Looking at my current view right now, I see some mechanical equipment, a few grid lines, a few walls, and some other architectural elements, along with some mechanical elements as well. Now, let's say you want to change the visibility. In other words, I want to override what my current view template has set. Well, there's a couple of different methods on how to do that. One is in the actual view properties on the left. If I don't have anything selected, you see the properties of the view. I could click Edit to the right of Visibility Graphics. Doing so will open up the actual properties for the graphics of what I see on my screen. First tab is my model graphics, and I can look at all of these or filter by category. In here, I can choose different elements or sub-elements and then click in the blank boxes to override a variety of things. For example, for ducts, I could override color, weight, or a pattern, picking a different actual result versus what the template is defining for this type of view. You can also do the same thing for annotation and any other models that are associated to this view, whether they are imported or they are filtered. Go ahead and click Cancel. Now, another thing you may want to do is temporarily see elements above the level or below the level you're currently looking at. And this is called an overlay. So if I scroll down, you can actually see or set an overlay or an underlay, depending again if you want to look over or under. Underlay setting is currently set to none. I could, though, change this to a different level and apply that and be able to see more or less depending on if there are elements above or below what I'm currently looking at. Generally, where you would use that is if you were on a second or third floor and you wanted to see elements below it to align them, you would actually use the underlay and visually look at elements below your current level. But I'm going to set this back to none in this example and apply that. Now, another method we could change or look at are the actual crops. So you could turn the crop on or off, meaning I can actually see more than what's inside of this crop box. So if I deselect crop, click on your screen, you're going to see everything within that view. If you click on crop view again, click apply, it crops it off. But right now the crop box is not visible. If you check mark the crop region visible and click apply, you actually see the crop box. And you can click on the crop box and drag the points to enlarge or shrink the crop box. I'm going to go ahead and turn the crop box off. Now, some other things you may want to do, depending upon how you work, is temporarily hide different elements within this view. You can use the icons on the bottom of your screen on the shortcut view bar to do this. The icon that looks like glasses is a temporary hide isolate icon to temporarily hide or isolate things that you click. So if I click on temporarily hide or isolate, I see I have different options depending upon what I want to do to what I highlight. So for example, if I click one of the grid lines, it'll turn a different color and you'll see dimensional data for it. Then click on the eyeglasses, the temporarily hide isolate icon. Now you have four options. Isolate this category, meaning turn everything else off but the grid line category. Or hide the category, meaning hide all the grid lines in this view. Or you could just use isolate, which means isolate just this one singular item, leave it on, or just hide this one singular item. And I'll use the last one, hide the element. So if I click hide element, it actually hides that one singular element temporarily. And now I can go about designing whatever I need to do. Now, to recall that back, I can actually hit the eyeglasses again, and I can click the Reset Temporary Hide Isolate option. This will turn on everything that's currently turned off. Now, you have a couple other options as well, too. If things are hidden by default based on the view template, you can click the light bulb. The light bulb will then visually show you elements that are hidden within this current view. And I can see those are in magenta. So those elements now are hidden in this view, but I could click on those and visually turn those back on or off. You also have the ability to control the crop here on the same toolbar versus going to the Properties box up on the left. A couple other options are shadows, if you want to turn shadows on and off, and if you want a sun path, more used for solar studies. The first two options are your level of detail, where you have fine, medium, and coarse. This would set the thickness of the walls or the details within the walls. In other words, do you see two lines for a wall, or do you see the actual makeup of the wall? Brick, mortar, and air spacing, a furring strip, drywall, rock lath, or any other elements within that wall. You also can set the actual visibility styles, meaning is this shaded, is it a hidden line, or is it a realistic? So as a review, in this lesson, we looked at different ways to control or manipulate the visibility of our existing views. We looked at ways to override the visibility graphics, to temporarily change or override line styles, line weights, line colors, to turn on or off different elements within this view. We also looked at the cropping of views, how to turn on or off the crop or enlarge or shrink the crop. We also looked at ways to temporarily hide or isolate elements within this view, or temporarily hide or isolate an entire category of elements within the view. And then lastly, we looked at, really briefly, the icons on the view bar on the very bottom to crop and hide, to turn on and off solar studies and shadows, and then to also change the visibility or detail of our drawing, or in this case, our project view, and then also the graphics, whether we want shaded with edges, hidden lines, or realistic.